Tonight is gonna be creamy Tuscan chicken. 2 chicken breasts, salt, pepper, paprika, Italian seasoning, onion powder, sun-dried tomato in oil, Dijon mustard, that thick ass cream, you know, that heavy cream, spinach, Parmesan, garlic, or shallots. I'm making it with shallot because Matt can't have garlic. And you're gonna put it over pasta, rice, or mashed potatoes. You can serve it with like some veggies, like some zucchini or asparagus or whatever veggies you want to make on the side. I'm gonna make a salad. And as always, I forget something about the shopping list. You can also add white wine or chicken broth. All right, so I have all my ingredients lined up here. Shallots instead of garlic. You can tell I'm butthurt about having to change over how I cook.
It's not my fault.
A little bit of white wine instead of chicken broth, just because we're adults. But use chicken broth if you want with the kids. And then these are chicken breasts. I'm gonna cut them. I'm gonna fillet them in half. And I'm gonna start with that. All right, so I have filleted both breasts, and I am going to season them with salt, pepper, onion powder, paprika, and Italian seasoning. And not measuring, just gonna do it to like look. I feel like, ooh, last time I did this, paprika came out like crazy. Know your spice bottles. Oh, see? Look, that could have been just all in one spot. I'm gonna do kind of a lot of onion. And then once I'm done with this, I'm gonna flip over and do the other side. And also gonna throw that salt in my hand because I feel like I can tend to oversalt stuff, and it's better to not oversalt. And if you need to add salt once you're done, that's fine. I have washed my spinach here. This is like 3 cups of spinach. Diced this shallot. If it was garlic, I'd do like 4 or 5 cloves. And then got the sun-dried tomatoes out of the oil. But I am gonna use that leftover oil. I'm gonna pour it into the pan. I'm gonna do like 2 big spoonfuls, and it is preheating to medium high. And I have, seasoned the other side of the chicken. So I'm gonna pour a couple of, I'd say tablespoons, but they're just big spoons of the oil that the sun-dried tomatoes were in into the pan, and let it heat up for another minute or so. And then I'm gonna start cooking the chicken into this pan. I'm actually also gonna add just a teeny tiny bit of olive oil to it as well, because it didn't fully coat the pan. So now that the oil is smoking, I'm going to add the chicken, add it away from you so the oil does not splash up on you. And then I'm gonna cook it on both sides, probably about 5 minutes, but until golden brown. All right, so these look like they're pretty good. Oh, nice on this side. I'm gonna flip them over and let them cook on this side for another like 5 minutes. And then I'm working in batches. So looks pretty good on this side. I'm gonna take these out and then add a little bit more oil to the pan. And the second batch is probably gonna get a little bit browner just because it already has some brown shit in there, and it's hotter than it was when I started. But I'm gonna start with this batch and finish it up. So I've taken all the chicken out. I'm gonna put my shallots in the oil. If you're using garlic rather than shallots, you cook it for like maybe a minute. The shallots are gonna take longer, and I've reduced the heat to medium instead of medium high, but I'm gonna continuously stir whether it's shallots or garlic, and I'm gonna just cook it until these are completely clear, soft, whatever. So even despite being shallots or garlic, you're gonna wanna stir constantly just to make sure they don't burn. Okay, so these shallots are nice and fully cooked through, and I am going to add the sun-dried tomatoes with their little extra bit of oil, and then I'm gonna cook them for like 2 minutes. Okay, so tomatoes are heated through, a couple minutes of constantly stirring, and I'm gonna add Dijon, and I'm just gonna kind of squirt some in and mix that around. And once it's fully coating the sun-dried tomatoes and shallots, I'm gonna reduce the heat down to low or medium low, and I'm gonna add the cream and let that simmer for a couple of minutes. So I'm gonna I have this little tiny thing of cream. And add it slowly. And the low heat, you don't want it to boil. So just add it slowly, stir in. And I'm gonna let that simmer for a couple minutes, but I'm not gonna I'm gonna add like 3/4 of this tiny little half and half, or no, whipping cream thing. This is super heart healthy, by the way. All the oil and cream is great for you. So now I'm gonna add a little bit of white wine. You can add chicken broth. I'm just gonna thin the sauce out a little bit. And I am also going to add some salt and pepper and some Italian seasoning to this. It's still on medium low. And I'm just gonna go to not measure, because why measure? Go with what feels good, right? Stir it up a little bit, and then when this is ready to go, I'm going to add the spinach and let it wilt for a couple of minutes. And just stir it around. You're gonna make it wilt, go soft. And then at the very end, I'm gonna add some Parmesan and put that chicken back in the pan, and it's ready to go on top of pasta or mashed potatoes or rice or whatever, but it'll take a couple minutes. So the spinach is wilted enough, and I'm just gonna add Parmesan on top, a big handful, probably actually 2 big handfuls, and I'm gonna melt it into the sauce. And then the chicken is gonna go back in there just to reheat really quick, and then you can put it on top of, once again, whatever you like best. We actually opted to not do anything with it tonight because we made big ass salads.
Big ass salads.
But it's almost there. Like, probably the Parmesan will take maybe a minute or 2 to melt. And then chicken will go back in for 2 minutes. I don't know. Until it's kind of reheated. All right, chicken is going back in with the juices. And you're gonna mix it up and let the chicken hang out in here for a couple minutes, just reheating it, and then plate it, and you're done. And there we have it, Tuscan chicken. It does look a lot better on like something else, but we're not doing that tonight.